All right. We're back. Episode 2. You know you got hate mail because where's Robert?
I'm sorry, I am Robert.
All right, episode 2. All right, what's episode 2 about? I don't know. I'll just think about it right now. So episode 2 is based off the shifting. So if you check out season 1, we go over, let's say we go over the stance, and then we go over punch, and then eventually we go from first form to shifting. But episode 2, we're going to actually combine the two concepts together as far as shifting and punching at the same time. So let's have Danny here face the camera, and let's just do some standard shift punch first, okay? Good. And make 2 fists. Just make 2 fists. I'm just having him do some shifting first so people can see exactly what he's doing. Good. All right, this is perfect because all the mistakes I can correct.
I knew that was coming.
All right, first let's go over a couple of the main concepts first with shifting without doing the punch first, because I'm sure everyone's having the same issue. When it comes to shifting, the number one thing you'll notice in shifting, and I'll demonstrate it from here, is when I'm shifting, my center is from the heel to the ball of the foot is where my center is located. But somehow what your mind is trying to think is, how do I actually shift from one direction to another without changing or rocking my weight? And what happens is, that's what's the difficult part. Most people will go from here, where they actually have the vertical axis in place. You know, the tension from the top of the head to the tuck-in is in place. But now, if I want to shift to the left side, the most common thing they'll do is they'll end up sticking their butt out just a little in order to... They stick out their butt just a little in order to alleviate some of the weight in order to shift to the left side. So you'll notice a lot of times when people shift, I'm going to exaggerate it. When they shift, their weight will shift, but more often you'll see their toes rise up just a little. It doesn't even have to be that much in order for it to be incorrect. I've seen some people lift it all the way up and shift this way. That's a no-no. Okay, that's a no-no. Remember, if the whole concept is to control your center of gravity, and in other words, I have some water on top of my head. My center of gravity is perfectly in place. If I just lift up my feet a little this way, I already spill the water. All right, so you never want to do that. You have to figure out exactly how to maintain this vertical position that you have in Yichikin Ma and still maintain the shift motion every single time. All right, so that's the main thing to look at. And from that point on, is most of the error comes from this tuck-in. You lose the tuck-in or the lock. Or you end up rocking back and forth from that. So with that in mind, another thing to talk about, since people keep emailing me, is when we shift, why do we do 50-50? I mean, why do we shift why is our center of gravity maintained from a 50-50 perspective every single time? Okay? Why is that the case? Because, think of it this way, there's no debating how this works. If I take something, yeah, go see what it is. Don't worry, I'll edit this.
Can you edit my shift punching?
No,
Oh, that just sounds...
All right. So, anyway, what was I talking about? I don't remember.
Why do we do it 50-50?
Oh, why were we doing things? Why?
Good partner.
He's a good partner because I'm just talking on my ass. So why do we maintain the 50-50 stance? Because understand the Wing Chun game, the fighting concept of it. If I'm fighting somebody, the concept is go in a straight line. All right? Whether I deal with attack or block, I'm always dealing with it in a straight line. So if the force comes at me, and next thing you know, this straight line is here, and I lean off to the side, whether I'm 70-30, 60-40, or 100-0, you'll lose every time. Right away, you're playing that other person's game. Okay? So when you're actually working on the development of the shift, what are you doing? This is the first step that you're working on maintaining the center in motion. So the perfect example is, you take a top, right? You spin a top, or if Ken's here, a dreidel. So you take a top and you spin the top. When you spin the top, you notice the vertical, when it's rotating fully, is perfectly straight. So even if you hit the top, it still moves, regardless of where the force is from any direction. But once you see the top towards the tail end where it's rotating like this, in this manner, where it's rotating like this, any force that hits this top automatically falls down. So that's why, just natural, just common sense, the weight distribution is always 50-50 when you're developing it in Wing Chun. Once you lean off to the side, you'll lose it. All right? So, with that in mind, let's go back to Danny. Let's see what he was doing. Now he's basically doing what? We're combining the punch and the stance together, or the turn motion together. And let's point out some of the things he's doing so we can make it better. Go ahead, punch. Okay, so one thing you want to check, he's actually okay here. How much do you shift and punch? Punch and shift it one more time. Again? Okay, it's not so bad. One thing, common mistake is when you shift and punch, sometimes you don't know where you are in relationship to the target. So if I shift and punch and I go this way, right? Now look, I can no longer use this side of the hand. I want to still be able to shift and stay within my triangle every single time. But if I overshift this way, what happens? Now this is one-sided only. So you just need to shift enough where if I turn, this is enough. If I can touch my right hand to my left hand, that means I'm square enough to the target, in relationship to the target. But if I overturn it this way, then my base is off. I'm only using one side to make it function. Okay, so remember that. Don't overturn like this. Then you don't have a triangle in place anymore. You want to be still here and still maintain the triangle. So if you look at it from this perspective, I turn, look how little it moves. I don't turn it this way. Okay, okay. And another thing, what else can we look at when we're doing the shift turn motion? Go ahead, punch. Good, punch. Punch. Okay, now when he does that, you also want to think in terms of the body is leading the motion to punch. Now I want you to look at how I'm doing the punch motion, okay? Looks okay. Perfect for YouTube. But what's the problem? There's no body connection at all. So in other words, Danny's doing his punch. Go slowly. Use this side. Make a fist first. Go ahead. Yeah. Make a fist. And then punch.
Damn it.
Why is he having trouble to do that? Because he's cheating the motion. He's trying to go out with the arm first. And when the arm goes out without the body, he can't push it. So let's fix him in place. When you feel this, feel the body support, push, turn, don't lean. Yeah, like that. Yeah, you can do it. Push. Yeah, and then feel it. Push, 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 push. Extend.
Wow.
That's actually the body being used to use it. Because a lot of times people cheat. If you look at my punch motion, look how my elbow, a lot of times when you do a regular punch, your elbow's in, right? Just naturally in to support it. But when you turn, my elbow ends up going out and you end up punching like this. See? So that's why when he feels resisted, all of a sudden now he can't push it because the elbow doesn't have the body support behind it. But look at how I do this punch. If I go like this, my elbow's out and I punch, okay? But look how when I punch, this motion here is exactly the same. Look, I turn and it's still supported throughout the entire time to do the punch. I'm not out here, okay? Hopefully you can see the difference between the two. Here, elbow's out, I'll exaggerate, and then it just goes out. Looks okay. See, I can cheat it and make it look pretty, right? But if you look at it here, if you have the eye, once I start shifting this way, notice my elbow's fully behind the body, and then I can shoot it out. So when you do that, you actually feel the body behind the punch. Okay? That make sense?
Yeah.
All right, what else?
So how does that apply to Chisao?
The Chisao? Well, think about it. Everything you do in Chisao, if you don't understand this concept of just simply punching and turning, in Chisao, you just look like your arms. This is how you look. Right? Yeah. But if I actually, from here, my body's here. Boom, 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 boom. See, but my body's actually behind it, not my arms.
Yeah. You can feel the difference.
Yeah. So if you just use your arms, this is no good because obviously bigger guy is going to win. If you have the whole body behind it, then it doesn't matter about the size. You have that full unity that you're looking for. And that's the main thing that you're trying to develop, the unity between it. Because now you're saying to yourself, now I'm actually in motion. My center of gravity is moving, right? But how do I actually have unity from my legs to the body to the hands to actually achieve it? Okay? And remember, the concept of shifting, when I shift in this motion, is what? Is a developmental process. In a real fight situation, he comes in. I don't stay in place and shift. Because if I stay in place and shift, I'll end up falling back. All right? Real life situation, I shift. I actually step and adjust because you're actually moving.
As far as when you had me doing the example and I was here,
Yeah.
and then you had me punch, is there a certain distance that the arm is supported by the body before the shift is in play?
Well, if you have it out here, then your placement's already wrong.
Okay.
So you look up right away. Hold your punch. Where is this? Right away from here. His body. If I push a little, look, his body actually reacts. If he pulls his arm back, no, you don't have to exaggerate too much. Just pull your arm further back. Yeah, elbow back.
Okay.
Then now look, it's just his arm from that point. But here he has it here. Now his body's right away. Now when he goes like this, push, turn and push. Yeah, push, turn. Yeah, out, like that. Then you can actually see it done in place. You want your arm constantly supported by your body. Always. And this is the very first step that you're using to learn to develop that. Without arm connection to the body, you see a lot of hand techniques, it's like this, hand.
Yeah,
See?
damn.
It's weak. Right? Because you could do all this motion and it looks pretty. I go lob chop or whatever here, but there's no connection.
Yeah.
Right? Lob chop, no connection. This is weak. The hands just move right away. When the reality is, when he moves your hand, he moves the body. That's the end result. Okay? When he pulls my arm, I just don't end up going like this. Pull my arm, I just don't go like this. When he pulls my arm, I'm connected. He pulls my whole body into play. With a lot more work. All right, so episode 2 basically is the combination of the concept of the punch and the turning motion. Hopefully this helps clarify some more stuff for you and what to look for. And remember, the key is don't lose your center of gravity. Rocking back and forth, lifting up your feet like this is cheating. If you do it that way, you will never be able to utilize the stance, okay? And remember, make sure you're vertical in your stance. This is vertical. This is not vertical. All right? This is you just watching a movie and copying a motion. You actually have to maintain the vertical. This understanding of the hip tuck is not so I lean backwards. Okay? All right. Episode 3, hopefully we'll shoot it soon. It will be series 1, 2, and 3 on Chum Q. And we'll have him do it. All right. Hopefully you learned something.